Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Caitanya Caritamrita. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Adi Lila, chapter 4, text 166. Kamera Tatparya Nija Sambhoga Kevala Krishna Sukha Tatparya Matra Premata Prabhala. The object of lust is only the enjoyment of one's own senses. But love caters to the enjoyment of Lord Krishna, and thus it is very powerful. So we have been hearing since yesterday the difference between love and lust, sense enjoyment and giving pleasure to the senses of Krishna. So here is written, lust is only the enjoyment of one's own senses. So that's why we are here in this material world. Why? Because we said, why am I going to listen to Krishna? Who is he? Why should I work for him? Why should I make him enjoy his senses? I want to enjoy my own senses. Well, that is material life, and that's why we are here in this material body. And so that is lust, enjoying our own senses. And we heard yesterday that lust is not only the sex enjoyment, but even the gross and subtle forms. Gross and subtle forms of sense enjoyment in the name of altruism, nationalism, socialism, all those different isms, family affection. But love, what is love? Caters to the enjoyment of Lord Krishna. And thus it is very powerful. So love is the most powerful emotion, most powerful. And love is for Krishna. When we want to satisfy Krishna's senses. Loka dharma, Veda dharma, Deha dharma, karma, Lajja dharya, Deha sukha, Atma sukha marma. Dustyaja arya patha, Nija parijana, Swajane kare yata, Tadana bhartsana. Sarva tyaga kare Krishnera bhajana, Krishna sukha hetu, kare prema sevana. Social customs, scriptural injunctions, bodily demands, fruitive action, shyness, patience, bodily pleasures, self-gratification, and the path of Varna Sharma Dharma, which is difficult to give up. The gopis have forsaken all these, as well as their own relatives and their punishment and scolding for the sake of serving Lord Krishna. They render loving service to him for the sake of his enjoyment. So the gopis' love is the highest. Why? They sacrificed everything. They didn't care that they would be punished or scolded by their relatives. They left their relatives in the dead of the night, their husbands, their fathers, brothers, mothers, children. They gave it up. It's very difficult to give all this up. The Varna Sharma system, family affection, shyness, patience, self-gratification, my own self, my needs of my body, scriptural injunctions, social condition, customs, all very difficult to give up. But the gopis gave it up. Why? Because they wanted to serve Krishna, render loving service to him for his enjoyment. They want to please Krishna. They want to please Krishna. And that's what makes them happy. Ihake kaye Krishne drida anurag swachata dhauta vastre yaiche nahi kona dag. That is called firm attachment to Lord Krishna. It is spotlessly pure, like a clean cloth that has no stain. So we saw the gopis, they've given up scriptural injunctions, social regulations, Varna Sharma Dharma, and yet it is called spotlessly pure because it's for Krishna. If it's for someone else, then it's lust. But because it is for Krishna, firm attachment to Lord Krishna. It's like a clean cloth and has no stain. The author of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita advises everyone to give up all engagements of sense gratification and, like the gopis, dovetail oneself entirely with the will of the Supreme Lord. What is the will of the Supreme Lord? That is the ultimate instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, just surrender unto me, give up all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me, and I will protect you from all sinful reaction. We should be prepared to do anything and everything to please the Lord, even at the risk of violating the Vedic principles or ethical laws. That is the standard of love of Godhead. Such activities in pure love of Godhead are as spotless as white linen that has been completely washed. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur warns us in this connection that we should not mistakenly think that the idea of giving up everything implies the renunciation of duties necessary in relation to the body and mind. Even such duties are not sense gratification if they are undertaken in a spirit of service to Krishna. So we are inside this body. We are the souls, but we are inside this body. So we have certain mental needs. We have physical needs. So those things have to be taken care of. With a spirit that I need to take care of my mind, my body. Why? So I can serve Krishna. Undertaken in a spirit to serve Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everyone belongs to Krishna. So if our intention is, how may I please Krishna by doing my duty? That's why Lord Chaitanya says, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, just start chanting Hare Krishna. And that's the greatest service to Krishna. We are following the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, who's Krishna himself. We are following his instruction. By chanting Hare Krishna, we are serving Krishna. By hearing about Krishna, we are serving Krishna. And if the same spirit we carry on all our duties, whatever position we are in, I will do them for the pleasure of Krishna, then that is love for Krishna. Ateva kama preme bahuta antara kama andatama prema nirmala bhaskara. Therefore, lust and love are quite different. Lust is like dense darkness, but love is like the bright sun. So the comparison is given. Lust, darkness, ignorance. Dense darkness means it's ignorance. But love, bright, shining, full of knowledge, happy. That is the positive emotion. Ateva gopikanera nahi kama ganda Krishna sukha lagi matra Krishna se sambandha. Thus, there is not the slightest taint of lust in the gopis' love. The relationship with Krishna is only for the sake of his enjoyment. The gopis' mood is, how can I please Krishna more and more? Why does Radharani expand into so many gopis? Because she wants Krishna to enjoy more and more. That Krishna will enjoy in this mood. So let me expand like this. Let me offer this service so that Krishna can enjoy. So one might say, oh my God, how much can Krishna enjoy? Well, he's unlimited. So he can enjoy unlimitedly. He's Ras Vihari. He can enjoy unlimitedly. Yatte sujata charanam buruham staneshu bita shane priya dadima hi karkasheshu tenatavim atasi tadvyatate nakim swit kurpadibir brahmatidir bhavat ayusham naha. O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. This text from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 31, Text 19, was spoken by the gopis when Krishna left them in the midst of the Ras Leela. So this is a verse from the Gopi Geet. The Gopi Geet, when Krishna left, suddenly he disappeared. He called them to the forest And they came, and then after speaking to them some things, then he told them, okay, now you go. Now you go. Then they were like, no, we want to be with you. We want to be with you. And like that, joking. And then he disappeared. And they became very, very mad in emotion from him, with mad in emotion of separation from him. They were remembering him. They started singing about his glories. They started imitating his pastimes. And so they say, oh, dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. They're thinking, your lotus feet are so soft. They're softer than our breast. We are putting them on our breast, and we are thinking your lotus feet will get hurt by putting them. So so much they care about Krishna, and Krishna's lotus feet are so soft. Our life rests only in you. They say our life rests in you. They're living for the sake of Krishna. That's why they live. They live to be with Krishna. They live to give enjoyment to Krishna. Otherwise, they don't care to live. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. So Krishna, every day, he goes to the forest with the cows, with the calves, with his friends, when he doesn't wear shoes. And so they're always thinking, oh, Krishna's lotus feet, there is so much pebbles on the way. There's so much grains of sand. His lotus feet must be getting so hurt. He must be feeling so much pain. That's how that much attachment they have for Krishna. They miss him so much. They're like, our life rests in you. We are living for you. If you are not there, we don't care to live. Atma sukha dukhe gopira nahi ka vichar, Krishna sukha hetu chesta mano vyavhar. The gopis do not care for their own pleasures or pains. All their physical and mental activities are directed toward offering enjoyment to Lord Krishna. So they are not thinking, oh, I'll do this, I'll be happy. Or if I'll do this, I'll make Krishna happy, but look how much I'm suffering. No, that's not suffering for them. That is their greatest pleasure. Their physical and mental activities, they just want to please Krishna. They don't care how much ever endeavor they have to take in that regard. Krishna lagi ar sabha kare paritya, Krishna sukha hetu kare shuddha anurag. They renounced everything for Krishna. They have pure attachment to giving Krishna pleasure. Yeah, they give everything, giving up family attachment, their children, everything for Krishna. Evam mat artho jihita loka veda swanam hivo mai anuvartaye balaha maya paroksham bhajata tirohitam masu yitum marhatha tat priyam priyaha. Oh, my beloved gopis, you have renounced social customs, scriptural injunctions, and your relatives for my sake. I disappeared behind you only to increase your concentration upon me. Since I disappeared for your benefit, you should not be displeased with me. This text from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 32, Text 21, was spoken by Lord Krishna when he returned to the arena of the Rasa Leela. So Krishna, he calls them to the forest, he talks with them, and then he disappears. Then they sing the Gopi Geet. And then he comes back. Then when he comes back, then he speaks to them. And he's telling them, you have given up everything. Social customs, whatever position you have in society, whatever social duties are there, scriptural injunctions. That according to, oh, you're this position, so you should do this, you're a woman, so you need to do this, you need to do this. And all your relatives, because their relatives didn't want them to go. Their fathers, their husbands, their brothers, they were holding them back, but they still went. They went. And so Krishna said, you gave up everything, everyone, for my sake. And why did I disappear? I disappeared so that your separation would for me would make you think about me to even a greater degree. You know, when we have something and then we suddenly lose it, then we go crazy. We go looking for it. Where is it? Let me find it. Let me find it. When we have something and we lose it, you know. So that time, the whole being of a mind and whole body, the whole attention is to find that. So that's what Krishna did. And since I disappeared for your benefit, you should not be displeased with me. Because in that time when Krishna disappeared from the gopis' side, the gopis were singing about Krishna, they were talking about Krishna. Oh, Krishna does that, Krishna does this. Their mood of attachment to Krishna increased. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted them to feel that intense love and separation. Because it is on a spiritual platform, so it's not suffering, it's higher pleasure, higher pleasure. Krishnera pratikya eka ache purva haite ye yaiche bhaje Krishna tare bhaje taiche. Lord Krishna has a promise from before to reciprocate with his devotees according to the way they worship him. So Krishna is, he says in the Bhagavad Gita also, as one surrenders to me, to that degree I reveal myself. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajami aham. As one surrender to me, to that degree I reveal. So here the same is repeated, that Krishna reciprocates with his devotee according to the way they worship him. Somebody worships Krishna as an energy, Krishna reciprocates with them as that. Somebody reciprocates Krishna as a light, Krishna reciprocates with that. Somebody worships Krishna, says he doesn't exist, Krishna reciprocates with that. Somebody reciprocates with Krishna that he's my son, Krishna reciprocates as a son. Somebody reciprocates him as a lover, Krishna reciprocates as a lover. That's how he is. So he's always fulfilling our desire. He's waiting to have a relationship with us as we desire, as we desire. So, yeah, that's the ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajami aham mam vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. In whatever way my devotees surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Krishna was never ungrateful to the gopis, for as he declares to Arjuna in this verse from the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, he reciprocates with his devotees in proportion to the transcendental loving service they render unto him. So Krishna said, he's never ungrateful. He always reciprocates. Whatever we do for Krishna, he reciprocates. And he says, I reciprocate accordingly. Everyone follows the path that leads toward him, but there are different degrees of progress on that path. And the Lord is realized in proportion to one's advancement. The path towards Krishna, each of us is on a different level. Each of us in a different degree towards the journey toward Krishna. And then in proportion to one's advancement. The path is one, but the progress in approaching the ultimate goal is different. So the path towards Krishna is there, but each is on a different level. The progress is different. And therefore, the proportion of realization of this goal, namely the absolute personality of Godhead, is also different. So because the progress is different, so then the realization, what's the goal? The goal is to go back home. The goal is absolute personality of Godhead. The goal is the same actually, but because we are in different levels and each of us is in our own level of consciousness in our journey towards Krishna, the realization of this goal is different. The realization of the goal is in proportion to our consciousness, to our advancement on this path towards. So that it means the nearer we are to the object, the clearer the object becomes. The further away we are from the object is hazy. We see a mountain from very far away. Very far away, the mountain will look like some hazy thing with some clouds there. We can't see anything much, but just mostly a cloud. But the nearer we go to the mountain, the clearer our vision of the mountain becomes. We can see, oh, it's green. And then the nearer we go, oh, there are trees, there are plants. And once we really go there, oh, there are springs, there's, varieties of wildlife is there. There's so many different things happening there. So the closer we go to the object, the knowledge of that object is more and more because we can see it clearly. Similarly, each of us is in our progress towards this ultimate goal of the personality of Godhead. But our realization of that goal is different based on where we are. So the gopis attained the highest goal, and Lord Chaitanya affirmed that there is no method of worshiping God higher than that followed by the gopis. So the gopis, they attained the absolute personality of Godhead. They attained him. They love him to the highest degree. And Lord Chaitanya is telling us that that is the best way of worshiping God. There is no higher worship of God than the mood of the gopis. The way the gopis love God, the absolute personality of Godhead, that is the best worship. That is the highest worship. So is that okay? Any comments or questions? So the same object, I'm sorry. Did anyone have anything to say? So
no, all good.
All good. So the object is the same, but just depends on how far we are away from the object. So the goal is the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Now, how far away we are from him, to that degree we understand him. Some say there is no God. There is no God at all. That is then that they are at that level. Some are like God is some energy. God is this universe. God is this light. God is the Paramatma. So each person's realization, because how close they are to him, how much progress they have done. That is what. And Lord Chaitanya is saying the highest, the most best worship, the highest position reached is by the gopis. They are the closest to the Supreme Lord. So their worship is the highest. So we'll stop here for today. Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.